everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to today's live stream. I'm so happy that you can all make it today. So happy to see you all. What did you think? Hey, you knew it was coming, all right? And then and by that I mean Nicole, right? Nicole, you knew that was coming, right? Come on, sis. Come on, girl. You knew that was coming. Oh man, so happy to see you all. So glad to see you all. Yes, it is Friday and it is also Nichol Kessinger's birthday. Decided, you know what? Let's just go ahead and give her a little bit, right? I mean, her days are counted at least, right? Let's go ahead and knock on wood. Let's hope her days are counted. And so, hey, I just wanted to give a little birthday bash to the birthday girl. You know? To America's most hated mistress. And I would probably argue it's the world's, right? The world's most hated mistress. Yeah, she has a little birthday today. So because of that, we have a special episode. We are going to continue listening to Nichol Kessinger. Although I will say we're not going to listen to her too much. All right, not too much. But we are going to continue with the interview that was cut off just randomly, right? It was just cut off and then we were like, "What? What happened with the rest of the interview?" Well, it does exist. It just wasn't recorded. And so, because we don't have the audio, we at least have the discovery. So, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to read the discovery. Yes. Shelly, yeah, her last free birthday, hopefully, right? Exactly. Oh man. Yes, happy to see you all. It's going to be, 4th of July tomorrow, so Independence Day. So, yes. Yeah, happy Independence Day. Happy 4th of July, a little early one. Tomorrow is Saturday, so we're not going to be on. So, yes. Happy Independence Day to everybody. Or I guess not. I mean, if everybody wants to be part of it, but Americans for the Americans, all the Americans. Happy Independence Day, everybody. Yeah, we are going to continue with Nicole Kessinger's phone call. However, we are actually going to be reading the discovery to go along with it. Yes. And that is because for some reason, as I said earlier, it wasn't fully recorded. The audio was completely gone. There was nothing there. And so we're going to continue what Nicole Kessinger and Kevin Koback were talking about, but was written, right? We have the discovery of it, but that is what we're going to do. Okay, we're going to read it. And please excuse me, I'm terrible at reading out loud. Okay. I know I love to make fun of Chris because he can't read. What number is this? What comes after 3, 7, 12, 18, 69? Yeah. However, I mean, I know how to read. Is just I just read better when I'm just looking. I'm like, but yes. So you guys are gonna all have to deal with my my reading out loud. That is, it's not as great as other readers. What can I say? I don't work for Kindle. I did apply once, and of course, I got rejected. I'm joking. I didn't apply. I'm joking. That's the joke. But if I did, I'm sure, I would apply. I would be at the interview, and that would be like, "Oh, hello, Rox. Okay, so go ahead and read this sentence right here. It says, I understand what's next on your list. Go ahead and read it." Okay. Um, I understand what's next on your list. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining today's interview. I think we're gonna pass. Thank you, though. Bye. Yeah, I don't blame them because it takes me forever to read. But anyway, you guys, we are here and we're gonna do it. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen. We are going to listen to this part of Nicole Kessinger because, like I said, I want to be able to finish off where the audio ends and then pick it back up from there. But we are going to be going back and forth, just listening to a few of the things she says and looking at our calendar. So, yes, it's going to be a very interactive live stream today. So, for everybody that has never seen the Discovery, yes. Oh my gosh, Anders, perfect. I've never seen the Discovery. Hey, this is for you, right? Yeah. So if you've never seen a discovery, if you want to read along and listen to this, then yes, this is a perfect live stream for everybody. I love Roxy's voices. Oh, yes. Amazing. I'm glad. I'm glad because we're going to be using a lot of them today, especially when it comes to Nicole Kessinger, right? We have to use the lawnmower sound. Right? And then we have to listen to The Grudge or, as we've all decided, the clicker sounds from The Last of Us. Right? So, tons of sounds. So, it's going to be very interactive. I hope you all brought your beverage and your snacks and whatever you wanted to bring to the potluck. So, anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the very last portion of this sound, right? So, this video, and then we're going to just go ahead and dive into the discovery.
It's a lie that contradicted the previous lies that he had told me.
I understand. What's next on your list?
Let me see. Okay, so then in that same exact
Right? So those are the sounds that she makes. Can you guys hear her or do you even want to hear her? I do have to ask. I have to make sure that if you don't want to hear her that you wear your earmuffs or that you just pause it, I guess. Turn the volume down if you don't want to hear her.
conversation, two more things happened.
Okay.
One, I was asking him about his daughter's EpiPen because I know that Cece has that tree nut allergy.
Okay.
And I was like,
I know that Cece has that tree nut allergy. Right? It's kind of a question. So she's asking a question. Let's go ahead and look at the discovery. So this is the part right here, right? So she says, I know that Cece has a tree nut allergy, right? This part right here. And the cool part about seeing the discovery is that we can actually see all of Nicole Kessinger's contradictions. So we don't just have to stop and hear it and see if we catch it. We can actually see it here, right? And so I love this part. Question, right? The question is coming from Kevin Koback. I understand. What's next on your list? So, let me see. Okay. So then at that sense, exact conversation, two more things happened. And then this is where she says, okay, well, there's a tree nut allergy. And then she continues, and just look at this. It goes on for many pages. So I do wonder, why did they just not continue recording this? Or did they and we just don't have access to it? Really weird, right? Oh my God, super chat. Thank you so much, Tiger. Aw, thank you. Love you, Roxanne, all of you. Aw, thank you. Love you too. Aw, thank you. Let's go ahead and celebrate. Celebrate. Let's celebrate. Yes, we are celebrating that we're counting down Nicole Kessinger's last days as a free woman. Hopefully, right? Hopefully. Okay. But yeah, did you see that part? So there's a lot that is happening here. And let's see, I just want to make sure that I'm on the right page. All right, so it is page 34. Yeah, so it is right here. So the tree nut allergy. All right, so let's go ahead and continue listening so that we can hear what Nicole says and then continue with the discovery.
I was like, I don't remember like word for word, but it was something along the lines of like, she didn't take your daughter's EpiPen, and he was like, no, and I was like, well, aren't you a little worried? Because I was like trying to do my own reconnaissance, and I was like, aren't you worried about that? And he's like, well, we have like a stash of them in the basement or something like that, and he's like, she probably just took one of those. And I just thought it was weird because several weeks earlier he had told me how expensive EpiPens were. So I'm like, if they're that expensive, how do you have a stash? You don't have a stash. Nobody.
How do you have a stash? You don't have a stash. Nobody just has a stash. How many stashes do you got? I got one stash on my face.
Right? Like, what is she saying? Okay, let's go ahead and just read it, right? We have the we have the text right here. All right. She says stash a lot of times, right? Oh my goodness. Take a shot every time she says stash.
Stash.
All right, let's go ahead and see here. And I was like, look at how many likes she says. And again, like, I don't remember like word for word, but it was something along the lines of like, she didn't take my daughter's EpiPens. And then right here, well, we had like a stash of them in the basement or something like that. And he's like, she's probably just took one of those. And I just thought it was weird because several weeks earlier, he told me how expensive EpiPens were. So I'm like, you don't just have a stash. And then, of course, Kevin says, right. They're very expensive. And then she goes on and continues, yeah, I was almost like, so at the same time, like, I didn't think anything of it. And now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, well, that was a lie too. And so, okay. Look at all the parts that Kevin Koback is kind of like, all right, what's next? He just says okay, and then there's a bunch of likes, and then there's another okay, and then a bunch of likes, and then another okay. Oh my God, this is dreadful. Oh my goodness.
He can afford a stash of EpiPen.
Right, they're very expensive.
Yeah, so I almost was like,
Yeah. So I almost was like, okay, so that is where it ended. So it is right here. So it was almost like that is where it ended, and this is where we are going to continue. So let's go ahead and change screens. Yes. So that you guys can see it better. All right. I don't I don't want to blind you guys, right? You're like, you have to bring your magnifying glass to your phone or to the TV screen. That would really suck. Right? I'm not trying to do that to you guys. All right, here, let's go ahead and just zoom it in so that you guys can read it from far away, wherever you are, right? If you're cleaning, if you're vacuuming, right? Using your Hoover V-Bug, be careful. It might be. It might be Nichol Kessinger. If you're in the kitchen washing the dishes, now you can see it. All you have to do is glance up and go, okay, I'm on track. All right. So now you guys can follow along. Follow along, everybody, just like we're in school here. All right. Bring your binoculars, everybody. Yes, Shelly. Oh, man. All right. So this is where she ends, and she says, so there's that. And then also in that same conversation, so then I started questioning him about why didn't he go to the office on Monday? And I was like, and again, like it's not an abnormal thing for him to not go to the office, but it's a less common. And I would say it happens maybe once, like every couple of weeks, or maybe once or twice a month. Like it's pretty in. Like it occurs. So it's not like extremely abnormal, but I just thought it was ironic that his wife was missing and he wasn't at the office that morning. Wow. Oh my God. I mean, it is very annoying to be to be reading it like this. Let me just tell you. So let's just go ahead. I'm just gonna read it like a normal person and then just insert the machinery noises every once in a while. How's that? How about I just read and then just bring in my leaf blower every once in a while. Just turn it up. I'm just looking around. I'm like, what kind of machine can I just turn on every once in a while so you can hear Nicole's voice? So that it sounds more accurate, right? Like I want to give you guys the feel that it's Nicole without annoying you. I don't want to be too annoying either. But anyway. Okay, let's talk about this paragraph right here, right? Tons of likes. If we count how many likes, you're not going to make it through the end of the video. You're going to be drunk out of your mind. So don't even try it. But the interesting thing that she talks about is that Chris wasn't at the office. Interesting because she wasn't either. Right? Isn't that strange? She's talking about how it is so ironic, she says. It was so ironic that his wife was missing and he wasn't in the office that morning. Except when we look at Nichol Kessinger's phone logs, we find that she also wasn't at the office that morning. How strange, right? So she's keeping tabs on Chris, right? She's almost like his boss. Where are you, Christopher? I miss you. I have this whole stash. I have this whole stash of gift cards to give you, and you're not here. Huh?
Where are you?
Which reminds me, one of our subscribers has this very, very funny post. So let's go ahead and show it here. It is in the community. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull it up real quick. I have to show this. It is amazing. So I just want to show you guys how accurate it is when we're talking about Nicole Kessinger and when she gives away those gift cards, right, to all the men that she finds handsome, right? Of course, that's just part of the joke. We don't know if that's what she actually did. So she probably did though. All right, let's go ahead and show it here. Look at this. This is going to be amazing. You guys are going to love this. All right, let me see. I'm just going to click out so you can see the whole thing. There it is. Randy, thank you so much for this. This is perfect. Chef's kiss. Yes. So, if you guys were wondering, if you guys wanted a visual, this is what it would look like. All right. The guys lining up at the gift card distribution booth at Anadarko. And you show up, you get your gift card, right? You can get one for the Lazy Dog, you can get one for the Sand Dunes if you'd like. Where else do you want to go? Bandimere Speedway, we got one for that. Where else do you want to go? You want to go to the Ford Museum? Oh, we got some more for that too, right? Pick, right? Take your choice, whichever one you want. And while you're at it, there's also some empanadas, right? Everybody's welcome to bring some food to the potluck. Bring some empanadas, everybody. And then, of course, you have the chicken and the carrots. Everybody just grab one chicken and one carrot and only one dip into the ranch, okay? No double dipping. All right, that's kind of gross. No double dipping into the ranch. That's nasty. Don't do that. Especially after you bite it, right? You don't want to bite it and then dip it. That's gross. We should bring back some of the COVID regulations when you're working with Nicole Kessinger, right? Just put your arms out, right? Arm's length, everybody, arm's length. I don't wanna get infected here with whatever is on the chicken and carrots. Oh man. And then you have this is funny, cringy Chris and nasty Nick. I don't know why I'm dying right now. Oh man, this is so good. This is so good. You guys, when you get a chance, make sure that you go into the community and that you give this a thumbs up. Randy, thank you so much. This is incredible. Look at all the guys too, right? They're all lining up, they're all smiling, they're all like, yes. I want my gift card. Where is it? Right? The guy in the back, he's like, I hope I get to the AMC. I really want to watch Jurassic World. Chris Pratt is my favorite actor, right? So he's over here with his fingers crossed that he gets an AMC card. Oh my goodness. I love it. This is so great. Yeah, this is for marketing. So if anybody is interested in marketing and PR, yeah, this is what you do. This is how you market the gift cards giving. But anyway, yeah, never before seen a photo of Nicole Kessinger giving away gift cards at her old employer, Anadarko. Oh man, Randy, that is amazing. Thank you so much. You guys are great. I love that when you when you surprise me with these funny memes. They're funny, they're so cute. And of course, surprising me with your fur babies, of course. I love those too. It just make my day. So please keep them coming, please. And of course, I love to show them off on the channel, when we're doing a live stream. If you guys want a feature in one of our live streams, go ahead. Make the funniest meme that you can possibly make. All right. We should have like an award thing, right? I feel like we should have like, I don't know, some competition who makes the funniest meme and you get a free gift card. You get a free gift card. Oh man, you guys are awesome. Oh man, I know for sure NK was part of all of it. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yes. Oh, LA woman is trying to get my attention. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Tammy. I'm like, "Oh god." Okay, let's scroll up. Let's go ahead and scroll up. A lot of these interviews are edited. Oh, yes, yes. LA woman, thank you so much for this. And thank you, Tammy, for catching my attention. They are. I'm so glad you bring this up because when I was doing these interviews and I'm trying to get them all lined up in an order so that you guys can watch them in order, I find that they are edited. They're stopped and then they're kind of cut in between and then they start up again. It's really weird. I think this is another part, another of the reasons that we think that this is very sketchy, that maybe law enforcement was involved in a bigger cover up, right? Because of the way that everything was edited so that the public will have a harder time putting it together. I'm not saying that it's impossible because, as we know, we've done our due diligence to get all of the information and put it together in a calendar. So it's definitely possible, but it does make it harder, right? It makes it harder when there's a ton of different people looking at this information. We're trying to piece it all together, and it's hard because the police somehow, right, for whatever reason, they broke everything up into pieces, right? I don't know, very strange to me. I will say I think it goes back to Rourke, okay? I always just go back to Rourke. Is it that he was trying to cover his tracks because he didn't pursue Nichol Kessinger? Is that why? Or, what could be the reason? Hurt Locker, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm just scrolling back up and I'm like, okay, I just gotta make sure I get everybody. Hurt Locker, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, let's celebrate. Celebrate. How on earth is Nicole Kessinger, Daddy Kessinger, Kevin not in prison yet? That is the question of the century, Hurt Locker. That is the question that we are trying to answer here on this channel, and I hope that we get to the bottom of it. But yes, that's a good question. Why isn't Nicole Kessinger and Daddy Kessinger and Kevin, right? Why isn't Kevin? Does Kevin still have a job? That's my question. Does he still have a job? Because if he does, I don't know. Somebody needs to figure it out. Oh no. I'm like, oh no, I needed some tissue and my tissue box fell. All right, guys, give me a second. Oh man. Oh no. My tissue box. Oh man. Yeah, I'm still struggling. I'm still struggling with these annoying allergies. They usually get better in the summer, but I don't think it's working. I don't think this summer is doing it for me. Oh man. Yeah, this summer is just really rough for me. Right? It started pretty badly. So I hope it gets better. I hope it does. Okay. Yeah, tissues. Tissues all fall down. Okay. Let's go ahead and continue with the discovery. I know we're having lots of fun today. Hey, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to do a more interactive one, right? I'm seeing a lot of requests out there. Some of you guys are like, "Oh, what's up with your tattoos?" Right? You guys want to talk about my tattoos. You guys have questions and stuff. So I'm like, "All right, yeah, we can do it." And then we can still talk about Nicole Kessinger. So why not? Yeah, I got my tissue box back. Look at this. I don't have anything left. I go through these. I mean, yeah, I go through these a lot. If somebody can please give me a gift card to Kleenex, right? Nicole, hey Nicole. Do you guys have gift cards for Costco? Does Anna Darko give Costco gift cards away? Because I need more Kleenex. That's what I would be asking, right? I would be wearing the fake mustache. I would show up. I would shave my head. I would show up like this, right? So that I can be more attractive to Nicole Kessinger. Hello, Nicole. Hi. You look like a sexy empanada today. Anyway, do you have Costco gift cards? That's what I would ask. Oh, man. All right, guys, enough fooling around. Let's go ahead and get back into the. Oh, man. You guys are like, what is going on today? Are you okay? I am. I am. I'm having a great day. I am. I'm starting to feel so much better. My headaches are not as severe anymore. I'm able to spend more time on the screens. So it's a good day. It's a good day whenever I can work longer, right? Longer hours. So, hey, All right. Where were we? We got so distracted. Okay. So, she's talking about the irony of him being gone, even though she herself is gone, right? She is not at work either. All right. Go ahead and look at this. Look at these calls. She is not at work. At 6:16, her friend Jim is calling her, but she's nowhere near work because look, she's still in Frederick. At 2 p.m., right? So all the way at 2 p.m. is when she is all of a sudden she's in Platteville, all right? So Platteville would be Anadarko. So we can assume that by this time she was already at work. Okay. So here she's saying, let's go ahead and bring this back up. Here, Nichol Kessinger is saying that it was really abnormal, she says. It is extremely abnormal. That and it was ironic that the wife went missing at the same time that Chris missed work. Interesting, right? How interesting that she says it's so ironic. What is very ironic to me is that she pinged at Frederick at 6:16 in the morning when Shanann and the girls are also missing. Isn't that ironic? A lot of things are so ironic going on with this. But she's trying to bring it back to Chris, right? She's trying to distance herself and say, "Oh, it's really weird that Chris wasn't there." Don't look at me though. Don't look into my phone records or where I was that morning. Chris is weird. He wasn't there. And then we have here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show this little part at least. Okay, well, I guess we can't. Okay, we'll leave it here. So this says question. Okay, right? So that's Kevin Koback. Nicole says, and so here's the deal. So Sunday night, he told me I have to go straight to the field. I mean, I guess that's something else you probably want to know. Nicole says, I guess that's something you probably want to know. Yeah, no shit, Nicole. I think it's important that you tell the police that Chris was trying to get out to Survey 319. She goes, I mean, I guess that's something else you want to know. Yeah, we do want to know that. Of course, it's very important that you tell Kevin or someone that Chris was trying to get out in the morning, right? Like, come on. Okay, says Kevin. Okay. So I didn't think of that. So Sunday night, and then Kevin says, "So Sunday night, during which conversation? So one we're talking about now? I don't. Is your first you refer to it as your first conversation. I don't remember. You had two that were lengthy. One, I believe, was from 9 to 11 at night. We had talked about it a little bit. It was about this previously about him saying that he was gonna go to the office. Yeah, so he okay, I'm sorry. It's like I jump around sometimes. That's okay. And then Nicole says, when I start remembering stuff. So the big conversation that we're talking about, the really important one where he like gave me all those like weird one-off details. That was the first long conversation on Monday night. I don't know what time that was, but what that was like the first long one where he said all of that stuff, like all of that was in one conversation. Oh my goodness. How does she talk like this? Who typed this? I feel bad for whomever had to type this out. The question then, Kevin goes in and says that when you say all that stuff like the smelly sheets, talking about the ring, the wedding ring. Okay. The weird part where he slipped up about like him being the one to push okay, gotcha. Them separating and not her. So, all right. Do we see how incredibly confusing this is? And I'm trying to make it as as easy to follow as possible by changing the voices, but it's very, very hard. But look at this part here. So this is Nicole answering the question, and she says, the weird part where he slipped up about him being the one to push the separation, right? So she's saying that he is the one pushing the separation, not her. Okay, so Nicole is still adamant that it was Shanann that was pushing the separation and that it wasn't Chris at this point. Because again, I think that she is really trying to make it seem like it wasn't Chris that was trying to leave his family for Nicole. She's trying to make it seem like the couple was already having issues before she even came into the picture, right? So it's actually Shanann that can't stand Chris either, right? She's the one who wants to sell the house, she wants to move. So very, very adamant about making it seem like it was Shanann that was pushing this. And she continues, right? She continues pushing this idea. Um, and it's just so crazy. Randy, thank you. Randy, thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you for that lovely meme. Check out the community post I made last night about Nick and Amanda Thayer. They're taking Chris to NK's apartment after the night of the FBI interview. Huh? Really? Oh my God. No way. Let me just go ahead and refresh. I'm very interested in this now. Oh my goodness. Wait. Nick and Amanda Thayer took Chris to Nicole's apartment? This is unbelievable. Wait. Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to check my post real quick. Oh man. I just have to show you guys. Eric. Oh my God. NK sighting at the airport. What is going on? We're seeing a lot of NK sightings lately. What is up with NK? NK, you may as well stay in your cave, girl. Eric Issa. Oh my God. This is amazing. Man. Wow. I mean, she's definitely trying to camouflage, right? She's not wearing her signature bikini, her brown bikini from Walmart. So she's definitely trying to sneak out. She's like, oh, no one's gonna see me. I'm not wearing my brown bikini, so no one's gonna know it's me. We still know it's you, Nicole. The way you walk, right? Oh my goodness. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Eric. Oh man. Okay, is this it? This is it. Randy posted watching the part 16 of Footsteps of the Murder series. This shows cop charged with following what? With following Chris's noted that the night he left the FBI interview right before Ronnie came into town, that one of Nick and Amanda Thayer's vehicles followed Chris to Claude Court. Really? The NK's address. Then they both rode back to Nick and Amanda's. It doesn't say how long they were, but why would they do that? That is a very interesting question. Also, Nick texted Chris at 9:43 that night during his FBI interview and told him that one of his friends told him to tell Chris that he shouldn't be talking to police. Then it shows them, they took his phone away between 10 and 11 p.m. Oh my God. We definitely have to check this out. Did we know this, you guys? Did anybody else know this? This is insane. Wow. Thank you so much, Randy. Absolutely, we have to check this out. I mean, look at this. Sergeant Egan that they observed entering the garage. Oh my goodness. Here, let me click on. I want to see what can we actually. Oh man. Okay, here it is. Yeah, we are definitely going to take a look at this video. We're going to watch this one because what? That's crazy. Thank you so much. Yeah, see, you guys are just full of so much knowledge, right? Anything that you guys want to watch or do a deep dive on, go ahead and send it my way. I don't mind, right? Like I don't mind watching some things with you, in our live streams trying to figure stuff out, yeah, please go ahead and send them. Triple twister. um, yeah, but see, okay, so now we have that going on, right? So it looks like maybe possibly Chris went to Nicole Kessinger's apartment that night. I wouldn't be surprised, right? As we know, Chris was walking back and forth, being all weird, all sketchy. He didn't want to really text or call Nicole Kessinger in front of the police. So he would always leave and walk out and pretend like he was just going out for some fresh air, is what he would say. So ridiculous. Um, but yes, here Nicole Kessinger is continuing to push the idea that I was Shanann that was trying to break up the marriage. And here we have the answer. So this is Nicole's answer. And and then the EpiPen thing, and then all of that. And then so back to Sunday, August the 12th. That night, I believe we only had one phone conversation. I looked at it. I pulled up my phone records today, and I'm pretty sure we only had one phone conversation, and then I think I just went to bed. Nicole Kessinger is telling Kevin Koback that she pulled up her own phone records. Are we are we so for real right now? I looked at it, she says. Well, of course she did. Why wouldn't she? She's looking at her phone records because she wants to make sure that whatever she's telling Kevin Koback is accurate and actually matches with what her records say. Isn't that crazy? I think it's crazy that she admitted it to Kevin. But yeah, this is what she's saying. She looked it up. She looked at them, and these are the ones that she's talking about, right? These two big ones. She calls them the big ones. The two big ones at the end, Kevin. I don't want to talk about these, not the other ones, the two big ones. These are the two big ones that she's mentioning right now. Right? And at this point, she's saying that she's looking at the one on the 12th, which is this one. 111 minutes, the one that she doesn't remember about. So, let's go ahead and see what she says about that phone conversation. Kevin says, okay. Nicole says, but on Sunday night, that phone conversation, that's one where I heard the TV on in the background and I was like, maybe he's staying up and waiting for her. Do you remember I told you guys that? Yes, says Kevin. Nicole says, I was like, I think it was really weird that the TV was on because he talks to me when he's in bed and he wasn't in bed. So that's this is the same conversation. In that conversation, he told me, I have to go straight to the field tomorrow. And he was just like, I'm not gonna see you in the morning. And I was like, all right. And I was like, why? And just like, I gotta go, he's like, I gotta go check out the site and like a release in the morning. And a release is like when the oil industry has like a release of any type of like oil products or anything, like from any of our equipment. And I was like, I remember asking him, I was like, well, why would you have to go check out the release? You're not part of the environmental team. Take a shot for every time she says like. Oh, how does a woman speak this way? There are so many likes in this entire. Look at this paragraph. Just by looking at it, you see way more likes than any other word, right? Any other every other sentence has like 3 likes in it. That is so insane. Claws me. Yeah, guys, get your White Claw, get your Four Loco, get your rubbing alcohol if you need to. Oh man, this is gonna be insane. Wow. Okay, let's look at what she's actually saying. So she's talking about Chris going out to Survey 319 the next day, and she's asking him, why are you going out there? That is not even your job. You're not part of the environmental team, is what she says here. Isn't she part of the environmental team? She knows a lot of information here, right? She's giving Kevin a lot of interesting stuff. She's saying that Chris told her about going out to Survey 319. Now, this is very important, especially when we look at the calendar. So let's go ahead and pull it up. All right. When we look at the calendar, when we look at August 11th, okay, so or I should say the 10th. So on the 10th, we have this, the weird fire stick, right? Chris met up with one of his coworkers at the King Soopers parking lot. They exchanged fire stick. And so we believe, many of us believe that this might have been a reason for Chris getting out was to make it seem like he was exchanging a fire stick when in reality, he was also going out to Survey 319 to let out a leak, right? Because this is where we see that Chris was making plans to go out to Survey 319 that Friday, even though he was off, right? He was off work. So he didn't work that day. However, he knows that there is a leak. On Saturday, there is the lazy dog date. On Sunday, as we know, on Sunday is when Shanann was supposed to arrive home. She didn't, she was late. And then on the 13th is when everything happened. All right. But here she's mentioning that Chris told her about a leak, and this is on Sunday. So if this is what she's saying for real, she is claiming, okay, she is claiming that during her 111-minute phone call with Chris Watts, he mentioned to her that he was going to go out to Survey 319 the next morning, so Monday, to check out on a leak. So what do we think? It seems like she actually does remember what happened during the 111-minute phone call, doesn't she? She remembers little bits and pieces. She also did tell Kevin that the 111-minute phone call, oh, it probably is nothing relevant to the case. Yet, she's telling Kevin, oh, you might want to know this, right? Is it relevant? I don't know if it is. You tell me. Is it relevant that Chris wanted to go out straight to Survey 319 the morning of Monday, right? The morning that he murdered his family? Is that relevant, Kevin? I don't know. I thought maybe I should just keep it to myself because I didn't think it was that important to tell you that Chris was planning on going out to the murder dumping site to go check on some environmental leakage. Yeah, no shit, Nicole. Of course it's important. Okay, so now she's remembering. Okay, so let's go ahead and give her the benefit of the doubt. She forgot about a 111-minute conversation, but now she remembers. Okay. I wonder, what did she have that night? Did she have broccoli, right? Did the broccoli bring back her memories, right? Is she like, oh, maybe I should have some more asparagus as well. It brings back my memories. Is that what's happening? All right, let's go ahead and continue reading this. So when you say release, is that he was like a spill? Kinda, yeah. I mean, I don't want to call it or like something leaking or because, yeah, like something's leaking, like, okay. Anything that's involved with the oil and gas industry, anytime like if a piece of equipment leaks, I mean, you got to think they've got millions and millions of pieces of equipment. Like, sure, it happens. And so he's like, I have to go check out the release. And I remember asking him, I was like, why do you need to go do that? You're not part of the environmental team because like our field operators, they will find releases and they'll call the environmental team, which is like who I work for. They don't call me though, because I'm not the one that deals with that stuff, but they do call people like in my department and they say, "Hey, I'm on this job site and like a tank battery's leaking or like oil tanks leaking or something like that." And then we go out and assess it and clean it up and so on and so forth. So blah, 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 blah. What? Ugh, look at the way that she's talking about the tank batteries. Oil tanks are leaking or something like that. And then notice all of the broken words before that. This is what I like about the text is that we're not trying to decipher what Nicole Kessinger is saying or trying to figure out, oh, what did she just say? Let's rewind it. Let's go ahead and, put on the subtitles. No, we don't have to do that because it's in text. So we can actually see exactly how she's talking about this. When she is mentioning the tank battery, she says a lot of like, comma, Stop, like, comma, uh, uh, what? She's having a hard time talking about this part. And it's very interesting that she's bringing up the oil tank leaking. What? Oh my God. She's very spoiled, though, with their record temperatures. Are we talking? Are we talking about a fur baby here? I'm like, yeah, Nicole Kessinger is spoiled. Okay. Yeah, what is going on here? All right. So those are. This is the question that Kevin is asking now. So those are actually specialists that go out and clean this up, and he's not one of those people, right? That's what Kevin is asking. Boops, thank you so much. Oh my God, thank you so much for the super chat. I think that the only reason she admitted any of this was to preempt deleted texts. Yeah, she thought that they may retrieve. But of course, yes, exactly. They never did. Oh my God. I agree with you. I agree with you, Boops. Especially, given that she just told Kevin that she looked at her phone records, right? That's exactly what she did. She's like, yeah, Kevin, I looked at it. I'm pretty sure I only had 2 conversations with him that night, and I know because I verified it for myself, right? Yeah, she's looking at her phone records and she's making sure that whatever she's telling police is matching. And so I agree that she probably decided to talk about this because she thinks that they might know something about it. So, wow. Let's go ahead and continue, see what else she says. So Kevin is asking if these are the specialists that go out and clean it up, right? And before that, she says, they don't ask me though, right? So Nicole is saying they ask other environmental people, but not me, right? I'm not one of those people that goes out. Okay. And then she says, no, he's not, but sometimes like those guys, like his job is important to like shut in oil wells if there's a leak or like shut valves or if there's a leak, like he manages the equipment. So when he's like, I gotta go check out a release, and I was like, why are you gonna go do that? That's not your job. And he was like, I just need to go out some of the equipment where the release occurred. Now that part didn't really seem too odd to me because I mean, it makes sense that they're like, hey, we have a release, send an operator out and make sure you all. Oh, he said he had to do a lockout tag out on the site. So that means that depending on where the release is, if it's near a piece of equipment that could be have like potential energy to be hazardous, then what we do in the oil industry is what's called lockout, tag out. And certified operators such as himself will go out there and they will put a lock with a tag on the on the piece of the equipment where you operate it, so that it cannot be in use. Like they'll de-energize the piece of equipment and like shut it down, and then they'll put a lockout tag. Oh my God, this is so dreadful to read. All the likes are just completely throwing me off. And then the point is, so then if the environmental team comes in to clean up the mess, nobody accidentally re-energizes this piece of equipment while we're trying to clean up the mess because it could injure somebody. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. What the fuck are you trying to say? Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Strange too that Troy M talks about hits on his gas monitor that morning. Yeah, because of his wrench. Everyone is lying. Trail. Yes. Exactly. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Right? Because yeah, Troy talks about this thing going off as well. Angela, thank you so much. Love Roxy and chat family. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Let's celebrate. And then we have, oh my God, Lisa. Lisa upgraded membership to platinum. Oh my gosh. Let's celebrate. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for being a member. Yes. Oh, yay. And you joined. So you joined silver and then upgraded to platinum. Yay. Yes. Awesome. All right. How does she know? How does she know it's not his job? She doesn't even know the locations that he goes or what he does. Right. A lot of interesting questions here, right? There's a lot that she's saying that is already contradicting what she used to say before. She said that she didn't really know too much about his job, and now she's saying, "Oh, I actually know everything about his job." That is not his job, right? She's like, "It's not his job to go out and clean up the leaks." She's talking about a lockout tagout, which certified operators have, and they're also talking about not re-energizing something near Survey 319. So when we look at here, let's go ahead and look at the actual Survey 319 photos, just so that we can have them side by side while we're looking at this. Um, because wow, there's a lot that is being said here, and I just want to make sure that we have everything. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right. So she's talking about this, right? This is not Survey 319. These are the tanks. Survey is actually the other thing on the side. Let's see if we actually let's see if we have the photo of what she's talking about. Let's see here. All right, here it is. Perfect. All right, this is a perfect photo of what she's talking about. Okay. All right, so these are the tanks that she's talking about. She's saying, "Oh, the batteries are leaking," which they weren't. Interesting that she mentions that though, because what was actually leaking is over here. This is what needed to be checked. All right, so if we zoom in, oh my gosh, I'm like, how do I do this? All right, here we go. All right, so if we zoom in and we take a look at this is the site that was leaking. So something here was leaking oil, and this is where Chris was supposed to be working out of. Now, when the other coworkers are being asked where Chris was parked, it does sound like Chris was parked somewhere between here, right? It sounds like Troy says that if it were him, he would have parked in between, right? So that he can go between this and the tanks. But he noticed that where Chris was parked was very interesting because of what Chris was there to do. Now, Chris was there to look at the leak. So where was Chris parked that made Troy think that it was suspicious where he was parked? And if he was parked in between, then that would make sense, right? That he's trying to look at the oil leakage and at the same time trying to get his daughters, right? Scumbag, disgusting piece of shit. Scumbag, trying to get his daughters up into the oil tanks, right? So then he was able to then move freely from one thing to another. And he was able to do that by parking his car here. And so, yeah, he had that and he had a car blocked, and then he was able to just murder his two children and climb up the stairs, put Cece in this first tank, and put Bella in the second tank. Wow. Oh my God. The interesting thing though is that Nichol Kessinger is now talking about it. And she's not talking about this being the leak, right? She's talking about the tanks. She's saying battery and she's saying tanks, which is very interesting because as we know, Chris also looked up the lyrics to the Metallica song Battery, right? Is that what it's called, the song? He's looking up to the lyrics for Battery immediately after he had already stuffed his daughters in battery tanks, right? So, what is Nichol Kessinger talking about here? Oh my God. Boops. I was looking into wireline operators Getman. They have equipment that breaks up sediment because they have been planning to have bodies destroyed. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Boops. Celebrate. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So they have equipment that breaks up sediment. That is very interesting because let's go ahead and pull up the. Oh my God. There's a lot going on here. All right. When we pull up the calendar, on this day, we have a truck that shows up. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, sorry, it's not that day. It's actually on this day, right? It is on this day that there is a truck that shows up. Oh my gosh, where is it? Is it on this day? I'm kind of confused now. Oh yeah, right here. So it's on the 14th, not the 13th. So on the 14th, a water truck shows up at Survey 319. Now, The water truck, what they're supposed to do is they put water into the tanks and they mix up the crude oil. And so my understanding is that they're doing that to also break up the sediments, right? There's a lot of sediments that build up at the very bottom of the tank that can lead to leaks, right? So in a way, the way that I understood it was similar, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's similar to a water heating tank, right? So when you have a water heater at the very bottom, over time, it starts to accumulate sediments. So because of that, right, when the water heater is heating up the water, um, the water boils from the bottom up, and so any heat that needs to be released is released in bubbles. And so because of the sediment buildup at the bottom, the bubbles are not able to come up, and so that can eventually lead to a leak in your water heater. And so when I was reading into this, it almost sounds similar, right? There's a lot of sediments at the bottom of an oil tank, and if you don't mix them around, right, if you don't mix up the sediments at the bottom, it will eventually lead to a clog or a leak of the actual tank itself. So, is it possible, right, that the call for Chris Getman, right? So, as we know, Nicole Kessinger calls Chris Getman on the day of the murders, and also the following day, she calls Chris Getman first thing in the morning. So, is it that she's trying to understand how to mix up sediments down there? Boops brought up a very interesting point here. Could it be that they were planning to have bodies destroyed, right? It's possible. It's possible because this water truck, what they're essentially doing is they're mixing the sediments at the bottom of the tank. As we know, Bella and Cece are already at the bottom of those tanks. And the water it's moving everything around there, just sloshing everything around. Is it possible that she already knew that the girls were in there? And so that's why she ordered a truck service out there to move the sediments around, right? It's very hard to think about. It's very hard to imagine. But when we look at every single piece of detail about this case, it gets really, really dark. But the other thing is that we have to go deep, deep into this rabbit hole. And when we go deeper, we end up finding little things like this, right? These are all the loose ends that we are struggling to piece together. And, right, we're still here. That's why we're still looking into this, because this is one of the other loose ends that we haven't been able to piece together. What is up with this truck? Who ordered it? Why was Nicole Kessinger at work early that morning? She wasn't there on the 13th, but she was there early in the morning of the 14th, right? If we look at her phone records on the 14th, let's go ahead and look at them. Might as well. When we look at her phone records on the 14th, look at that. She is in Platteville at 6 in the morning, right? What is she, employee of the year now? She showed up very, very early that morning. She's like, "Oh, I know. I missed work yesterday. I was there super late. So let me make up my hours by being there at 6 in the morning." Is that really what that is? Or is this and this, do these two things have something to do with one another, right? Does her being in Platteville and then her calling her friend Chris Getman have anything to do with her calling over the water truck, right? I don't know. Crude oil is the most disgusting thing too. Exactly. Yeah. My mind just can't compute this. Oh my God. Same, same. Maybe they were going to fake a leak with the gas can. Oh yeah. And go back and make Shanann for two and then treat the bodies like sediment. Oh my God. Oh, again, it's so hard to think about, but hey, these are all the clues that we're piecing together. And the Idaho 4 died peacefully in their sleep, kind of gentler unaliving. Yes. Yeah. Oh man. They didn't even dig into NK's work around the days of their yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Right. What is all this? When we look at her phone records and then look at all the things that she's saying, I can't believe nobody pieced this together, right? And by nobody, I mean the police, right? They have a job and they didn't do it correctly. But anyway, all right, let's go ahead and continue. Now we have an idea of what she's talking about. She's mentioning batteries and oil tanks leaking, which again, it wasn't the oil tanks that were leaking. It was the other thing to the side, right? I don't know what it's called, but it's that little thing to the side that was actually leaking. Okay. Kevin says, "Yes, I got it," even though he doesn't, because I don't get it either. Okay. And then Nicole Kessinger says, "Okay, so now I'm remembering this just now." So this is what she said. I'm remembering this just now. He's like, "I think I gotta go do a lockout tag out of some of that equipment for the release." Kevin says, "Would that be something that would have been tracked?" Certainly, there is a lot of paperwork and safety requirements on all sorts of things with each site. So if he was actually going to do a lockout, tag out, would that be something that I'd be able to look at, a record at Anadarko, and know that he actually was assigned to do that? Mm. And here we go. This is what Nicole Kessinger says. "To be honest with you, probably." Again, I do not work with him, but if there's something that I do know about Anadarko and I love, and I'm gonna miss those guys so much, it's the fact that they're very safe. Like, that is, they're one of the biggest oil and gas companies because of how safe they are. What? I'm sorry, what? She goes on to she oh man. Okay. Let's go ahead and break this down. All right, let's go ahead and break it down. She says, "To be honest with you, probably." What kind of answer is that? Probably is not an answer, okay? It's kind of like, She may as well just have said, "To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't remember." But instead, she says probably, which is the same, right? You may as well tell me probably, I don't remember, I really don't know, because it's all the same shit. It's still not a straightforward answer. And that is in response to Kevin asking if there are records that Anadarko keeps, right? So she's claiming that Chris went out to Survey 319 to clean up the oil leakage. And Kevin is asking, is this something that I can actually verify for myself? Which, in my opinion, makes Nicole very, very nervous. And that's why, instead of answering, "Oh, totally, totally, we keep a log of everybody that goes out to Survey 319, rather than say that, she says, "To be honest with you, probably." And then she says, again, "I don't work with him." Lady, you just gave us an entire spiel, right? She gave us an entire paragraph of all of the things that he does. And then says, "I don't really know. To be honest with you, I don't even work with him." What? Okay, so I don't work with him. And then she says, "I don't really work with him. And to be honest, oh my God, I'm going to miss those guys so much," right? So you notice how she goes from one thing to another and then changes the subject, right? So she goes from, "I do not work with him, but if there's something that I do know about Anadarko," right? So she's almost getting there, right? So she's almost wanting to tell Kevin, "Oh, I don't know because I don't work with him, but hey, I know something about Anadarko, and they keep records of every single thing that they do." No, she doesn't say that. She says, "If there's something I know about Anadarko, oh, and I love them for it. Oh God, let me tell you about Anadarko." This is the one thing that I totally love about that company, Kevin. And this is actually one of the reasons that I really wanted to work for Anadarko, because, like, oh my God, I really wanted to be an AC and whatnot. And I've already told you that. But anyway, I'm going to miss those guys so much. Oh, especially Jeff. Jeff with the eyeball. Yeah, the eyeball that just looks the other way. Sometimes I'm wondering, is he looking at me or is he looking at Jeremiah? I don't even know. But anyway, other than him, I'm going to miss them so much. But where was I? Oh, yeah, I forgot. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. It's the fact that they're very, very safe. So she takes us on a whole, you know, flowery detail, right? She gives a lot of flowery detail, before she gets to the main point, which is Anadarko is very safe. She could have just said that. She could have just said, to be honest with you, I don't fucking know. Again, I don't work with him, but what I do know about Anadarko is that they're very safe. And just like any other safe company, I'm sure that they have records of these. So, yes, Kevin, you can definitely get those records because Anadarko is one of the safest companies in the world. And that's why I like working for them. And that's why I'm going to miss Jeffrey and Jeremiah. Right? Then she can go ahead and add her little flowery detail at the end, but she doesn't do that because we're talking about Nichol Kessinger here. This is how she does it. This is how she's able to confuse Kevin and other people. It's because she's able to give us an entire sentence filled with fluff and bullshit. Ratified. You sound just like her. Oh no. I try. I made sure not to eat this morning so that I can have stomach pains so that I can sound more like her. Starve yourselves and then you'll sound like Nichol Kessinger. Oh man. Oh, I just spilled water all over me. Oh man, this is so funny. Oh goodness. Okay. So Nicole Kessinger then says, so with that said, I would be willing to bet that there's typically a protocol. After all of that, just so that Nicole Kessinger can say, yes, there's typically a protocol. Typically, she says, typically. No. No. I mean, this would be like if somebody asked me about the Marine Corps, right? This is like if they would ask me a very basic question about the Marines, right? Oh, do you guys get M16s, right? And I'd say, well, to be honest with you, probably, sometimes they give us an M16A2 service rifle, but sometimes it might be a water gun, It is the Marines, though, after all, and it is a military branch, so I would think that they would give you an M16A2 service rifle, Kevin, but I'm not really sure. Yes, the answer is yes. You don't have to lie. Oh, typically, the military would give you an M16 rifle, typically. But you know what? I think that there's some protocol when it comes to the Marines. Who answers this way? Again, so insane. You need to have her cousin back sometime. Yes. I would love to interview the cousin, right? It would be so great to just interview her, right? I would love to see what she says. Her drunk ass, right? Hello, Nicole's cousin. Where's the meat? Okay. All right, let's continue. Oh man. All right. So there is protocol. So now she's saying that there's protocol. Kevin says, right. So I mean, there would have been a known problem for him to do a tag out or a lockout, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
right. And that's how Nicole the Kessinger says yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wherever there's a never, she says a never. But let's see if there is a never in here. So now Nicole Kessinger says, somebody would have had to call and say, hey, there's in your guys' words, release. Oh, sorry. This is, oops. Wrong person. This is Kevin. All right. So Kevin says, Somebody would have had to call and said, yeah, so in your guys' words, release, this is a site, and then some boss or whoever it may be would call Chris and say, hey, Chris, I need you to check this out. If it's so you're skilled, equipment operator, you make the decision. You look it out. What? You lock it out if you have to. Then the environmental team comes and cleans it up. So there's got to be like a track,
Yep.
says Nicole. Record of all going on. I'm assuming that there's probably is because lockout, tag out. Because if I mean, it's to save lives, so it's a very serious thing. Right. It's a safety thing. And like certainly certain people, yeah, and like only certain people are authorized. Like I couldn't lock out, tag out something. Like I don't have right that certification. Plus, you're shutting down. It's not. Oh my God. So, this back and forth, right? We see a lot of back and forth. Kevin is trying to insert a lot of questions in here. But what we're really getting out from this, right, with all the without all the voices in between, is that Nicole Kessinger is saying that she's not the one responsible for the lockout tag out, right? Whatever that is. She's not the one responsible for the tag out lockout. And she's wondering if Chris is, right? And now she's saying it is very important. It's a serious thing because it saves lives. So, yeah, I would assume that they would have protocol for this. Duh. Oh my goodness. Yeah, of course they're going to have protocol. It can get people killed. Eileen, thank you so much. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. Uh, yes, Sherry, it is NK's birthday. You missed it. You missed the birthday celebrations earlier. Don't worry, we'll have another one later on. But yes, isn't this insane? Right? She's talking about the lockout tagout thing being a serious thing, but she's making sure that she is distancing herself from it first. All right. Now, Kevin says, the answer is yeah, there's certainly a tag out lockout thing, and that she doesn't have certification. Okay, so Nicole doesn't have certification for this thing. Okay. So the question, a piece of equipment that makes money. So
Yes.
somebody wants to know that, right?
Yes.
Somebody there
Yes.
There is, there is it's a business. I'm just trying to think as a business person how they would do that, because certainly if you're going to do that, they want to get the team out there and clean up whatever is going on as soon as possible. So, and then Nicole says, "So." Then Kevin says, "They can piece piece of equipment back in order and running so they can continue to pump oil." Okay. And then the answer is, Nicole says, understood, understood. Well, and the other thing is that, like, he hadn't even looked at the site yet. So it's like, how do you know that you need a lockout tag out? I don't know. The question is that, and that's what I'm saying. That's unintelligible. Question, right? So this is Kevin. I mean, I would like to, if it's something for me to investigate, I'm just kind of trying to get a cause because you obviously know a lot. Again, right? It's very hard to read these sentences because there's a lot of just, the sentence just ends and then it starts over. Nicole says, yeah, more about the oil industry. I don't know anything about it. That makes sense to me. And that's good. And so that's good. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. I didn't even like think of that till now. So anyways, this is a question for Anna Darko. This is not a question for me. What? She says this is a question for Anna Darko. This is not a question for me. Okay. Kevin is asking her these questions because it's obvious that she knows a lot about the oil industry. She knows a lot about the batteries and the oil tanks leaking. But now she's saying that this is a question for Anadarko, not for me. Don't ask me these questions. I don't know. I'm not Anadarko. Okay. Kevin says, yep. Now an answer. So this is an answer from Nichol Kessinger. But anyway, so he told me that he was gonna have to do that, and I was like, all right, cool, and then so he didn't show up for well, he did show up for work on Monday, but supposedly he was in the field. And then Monday evening, after my friend Jim left, he that's when Chris and I spoke on the phone in that first really extended conversation. Again, I don't know exactly what time it was. It was late, but that first really extended did I just read this all over again? Yes, that's when he started saying kind of all of that really creepy stuff. And then he in that conversation, I started questioning him and I was like, "Did you really?" I don't even remember exactly what I said, but I asked him, I was like, "Did you really go to a job site this morning?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "And who told you to go there?" And I think he said that his foreman asked him, either him or his cowing man. Cowing man. And this guy Cowing man is this guy named Troy. I don't know. Troy. I don't even know what he looks like, but I know he exists. He exists. So I guess their foreman relies on Chris and Troy to kind of like run their little part of the field. And so he was like, yeah, my foreman asked either he or Troy to go out there and look at it. Do you know this foreman's name? I don't. He's got a few of them, I think. Okay. I want to say that's okay. I want to say Luke Apple, but I don't know. You're going to need to find out with Anadarko too. Okay. That's an Anadarko question. That's all right. Um and I know who, but I Luke is and I know who Troy is, so we probably have already answered that. And okay. All right. Yes. Great. So anyways, I told him to prove it because at this point, I mean, that's the thing that he's been saying, like the sheets was kind of weird. You know what it was? It was the wedding ring comment that freaked me out. Like the sheets did like was kind of weird at a time, but and the fact that I thought that he had just lied to me about their separation, but it was like the wedding ring comment. Like he was so callous. Like he was just ready to like cash it in and get some money. What? Okay, we're going to stop. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and pause the reading because oh my goodness. The other thing is Nicole really seems that she is backtracking here, right? She's very clearly, at least to me, she's very clearly doing damage control here. Now she's saying that Chris is the callous one because it's Chris who was trying to cash in the wedding ring for some money. But wasn't it Nichol Kessinger that told Chris to just pawn it, man? Just pawn it, man. She is the one who told the investigators this during the first interview. And now she's backtracking and now she's saying, actually, the thing that really freaked me out, other than the sheets, right? And she says, well, the sheets thing kind of freaked me out because of the timing of it. But what really freaked me out was that he was trying to sell the wedding ring. He was so callous, she says. The wedding ring comment, he was so callous. He was ready to cash it in and get some money. But she's the one who told Chris to just pawn it, man. And then Kevin says, you were telling, Nicole says, and I was like, Kevin says, him to prove what, right? So Kevin is saying, you were telling him to prove what? Nicole says, and I was like, to prove that they had told him to go to the field right away. okay, so, and he's like, how do you want me to do that? And I was like, you take screenshots of your Anadarko phone and you text them to me. What? Oh my God. How do you want me to do that? So she's claiming that she asked Chris to take a photo on his Anadarko phone to prove to her that someone asked him to go out there? This is so crazy. This is what the hell? This is so insane. Okay, let's go ahead and pull up the actual text messages that Chris sent to Nichol Kessinger because the more we read into this, the more it's starting to make sense to me. Right? This phone call, particularly, right? This specific phone call here is Nichol Kessinger trying to do damage control. She said a lot of things during her interview, and now she's thinking back and she's realizing, holy shit, I should have checked my phone records. I should have made sure that everything that I was saying was actually tracking with what the police has on me. And I should also go back and say that I wasn't the one that told him to pawn it. And I should also come up with an excuse for why Chris sent me photos of sunflowers at Survey 319, right? These are all the things that I think she was thinking about in the middle of the night when she can't sleep, when she's like, oh, Chris, I'm so scared, right? She's, claiming that she's telling Chris that she's so scared. And where's your family, Chris? Where's your family? Yeah, I don't think that she was scared about what happened to his family. Again, she's scared about what the police might have on her. And she's afraid that Chris might throw her under the bus. And so this is what she's saying now. Now she's saying, oh, I asked him to send me a photo because I want him to prove to me that someone told him to go out there. Come on. This sounds very just made up. What do we think? I'm going to ask you guys this question here. This is a poll question. Wow. Okay, what is NK doing here? Oh my goodness. Okay, so the first one is going to be, so she's backtracking slash damage control slash fishing, right? She's on a fishing expedition. Right, so she's fishing. And then the second one is, what is she doing, right? So now she's saying, I asked him to take a photo and all of this stuff. Okay, so now what is she doing? She's actually remembering stuff, right? So she's actually remembering the things that Chris told her. And the other one is going to be, what should the other one be? So she's backtracking and doing damage control. And she's remembering things that Chris told her. Oh, and then the other thing is, right, she's trying to make up the stories that go along with her actual, exactly, yes, preempted deleted text management, exactly, yes, perfect, Boops, yeah, so make up the stories that track with her phone logs, right? So stories that track phone logs, that's what I'm gonna put. So stories that track with logs. All right. And the fourth one is going to be, I don't know. All right, so let's go ahead and start this poll. This is so crazy. Oh, I can't believe she's saying all these things. And she's not even thinking about it, too. She's just kind of just saying it. She's like, oh, yeah, let me just call him over the phone and say a bunch of bullshit and see if he buys it. Oh, my God. She's flirting for misdirection. Oh, man, I should have added that one, Wolf Baby. Yeah, that is such a good one to add. Yeah, so the question is, what is NK doing here, right? Backtracking slash damage control fishing. She's remembering things that Chris Watts told her, or she's making up stories that track with logs, right? So it would be kind of, right? So almost related to the backtracking and damage control. The only difference here is that the damage control and the fishing is her wanting information. And the stories are actually what she already has told Kevin, right? She told him, I already looked it up. I know what my logs are. And so now she's fabricating stories to back up those lies, right? So it's a little different from the backtracking and the damage control. Or it could be a combination, right? It could also be a combination, but you guys let me know. This is so crazy. How do you want me to do that? I was like, take screenshots of your what? That doesn't even make sense. Why would you want to take screenshots and send them over to her just to prove that somebody sent you out there? That is so strange. Isn't it? That is so absolutely weird. Okay, what page is this on? I want to make sure that I have everything. Oh my gosh. All right, let's go ahead and look at the actual discovery. I want to pull up the text message that Nichol Kessinger is claiming that she asked Chris to send to her. Okay, it's right here. So this is what she's claiming, right? Watts took 2 photographs of sunflowers in an open prairie, and this is it, right? The open prairie. These are the sunflowers that Chris Watts took photos of and sent them to Nichol Kessinger. And this is what she's claiming here. You take screenshots of your Anadarko work phone and you text them to me. But this is the screenshot, right? So what, he took a photo and then he took a screenshot of his phone or he took a screenshot of his laptop? So weird, right? But again, this is happening at 12:16 a.m. or sorry, PM. So when we look at the actual, let's go ahead and look at the day of in the calendar and go ahead and see the time and see if something pops up. Oh my God, what? All right, so photo of the prairie. And then Chris Watts receives a Vivint alert. So then in this calendar, then we have to include that Nichol Kessinger requested this photo. Oh my God. NK requested photo. So now we know, we have it for certain that she requested a photo from Chris Watts. Here it is. All right, so she requested the photo of the prairie sometime before that time, right? So sometime before 12:15, right? So let's just go ahead and put it for noon just so that we can have it in there. All right. What do you guys think? NK was asking where you're going to put her and send the pic. Oh my God, wolf baby. Oh my God, what are we saying? All right, she still doesn't know if Chris will confess at this time, so she's still kind of holding or hiding in hopes that he will be released. That's why she's so vague. Exactly, Christina. Yes, I completely agree with you. Yeah, she's being very vague because she doesn't really know if Chris is going to be released, if he's gonna, tell the whole truth. So she's being very cautious here. It's not strange if you're getting your plan straight. Exactly. I have questions about narcissists sometimes. I hear you. I think I think she said he sent the screenshot during the 111-minute phone call. Was it? Thank you so much, boobs. Wait, was it during the 111-minute phone call? How can he send a screenshot when he's not there? Yeah, if they're having this conversation during the 111-minute phone call, but the screenshot wouldn't come in till the day after, right? Because that's when he was at Survey. So NK requested the photo, and then he sends the photo of the prairie, which is this one. What the hell? This is so interesting. The screenshot of the Anadarko video home messages, I mean. Oh. Oh. From his phone. So did he that is so interesting. Here, let's go ahead and look. Oh my God. I feel like pulling up all the information now. Where are his phone logs here? I want to find his phone logs now. Oh, wait, his work phone logs don't have anything. That's right. The thing is that Chris was very careful about using his phone when he wasn't at work, right? So the only time that we actually see Chris using his phone was when he was desperately trying to get Nicole on the three-way phone call. Other than that, he does not use his phone for anything other than work-related purposes. So that's why it's a little hard as well to be able to match those two because he was very careful. Not the sunflower pic, the screenshot of the Anna Dargo phone messages. Okay, right. Yes, thank you, Boops. Yes. They were complaining that the picture was bad quality. Huh. This is so interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this again. So, to prove that they had told him to go to the field right away, and he's like, "How do you want me to do that?" I was like, "You take screenshots of your Anadarko work phone and you text them to me." Right. Okay. So it sounds like she's wanting a screenshot of the text messages that the coworkers sent to him that wanted him out. Okay. Sure. And the question was, and did he do that? And I'm a yes, he did. Okay, all right. And then Nichol Kessinger says, and he didn't send me the whole conversation, but there was two pictures of a release, followed intermittently with like there was text like on the other side of the picture, and it looked like I didn't get everything. He just sent me like part of the conversation. I didn't have dates and times on either. Like you couldn't see the dates and times when he was sending me. So he couldn't be sending me so he could have been sending me something that was like not recent. It could have been something from like weeks ago and I wouldn't have known, but he sent it to me. And he sent it quick. Like it just like instantaneously when I asked him for it. Like it was still on the phone with him. I was still on the phone with him and right, says Kevin. Then I looked at it while I was still on the phone and it made sense with what he had been saying, but okay. The only thing in there, yeah, like, it almost looked like someone else was originally gonna go out to the site, and then it looked like the conversation someone I interpreted it the conversation that he had with his foreman, with Troy, or whoever was in that conversation, it looked like the conversation had occurred probably at some point over the weekend, and then it looked like Troy, I think, or somebody else in the field was originally gonna go out there first thing in the morning, on Monday, and then he told them not to worry about it and that he would do it. Okay. Okay. What? And again, I don't know the exact words, like I don't have the whole conversation. Again, this is something that you need to go to Anadarko for that. Okay. So this is making sense. So Nicole knows everything about the weekend conversation. That sounds like a really, really weird request from a mistress that's not involved. Exactly, trail of deception. Exactly, right? Isn't this so absolutely obvious now that Nicole Kessinger knew exactly what was going on that weekend? What in the world? Oh my God. This has turned into something completely different now. Okay, so Nicole Kessinger, let's go ahead and pull up the month. Oh my God. Okay, Nicole is saying that on the 12th, on this day, on the night of the 111-minute phone call, she asked Chris to screenshot her photos of these messages here. So let me go ahead and pull them up because she's saying a lot of interesting stuff here. Okay, let's go ahead and see. Yes, that's fine. I'm heading there now. I'm on PTO. Okay. All right. These are the texts that she was supposedly getting from Chris Watts, right? So she knows that Chris had this entire conversation via the phone, right? So she knows that Chris was texting Troy McCoy, possibly what's the other guy's name? Cody, right? Cody Roberts. Um, and all of this was happening on the Friday, right? So this Friday, the Friday that both Chris and Nichol Kessinger were off. Now, I know this is a little hard to follow right now because we have a lot of just things flying around everywhere. Okay, but let's go ahead and look at the 10th. This is the Friday that we know that Chris and Nichol Kessinger were not communicating. The only communication that we have from the 10th is this one at 9 p.m. Okay, at 9 p.m. Other than that, the entire day, there is zero conversation between them. No phone call at all. On the Friday, this Friday, that Chris supposedly went out to get a fire stick. Now, Nichol knows everything that went on Friday, even though she claims that she was at a baseball game. But she's saying that she knows this because of the conversation that happened on Sunday. So she's backtracking. So now she's remembering after the fact. Oh, that's right. That 111-minute conversation, he told me everything about what he was going to do on Monday. And part of that was going out to Survey 319. And she's telling Kevin that she knows everything about the text messages, that she even has screenshots. And she's also claiming that she was looking at those screenshots while she was on the phone with Chris, right? So she's on the phone with him. She has him on speaker. And then she's like, send me those screenshots, Chris. I want you to prove to me that somebody told you to be out at Survey 319 on Monday morning. Send them to me, Chris. And then he sends them to her and she's looking at them. Okay, I guess that tracks. Oh, yeah, you've proved it to me, Chris. She's claiming that she found out on Sunday, right? On Sunday during the 111-minute conversation. She didn't remember that during the first interview, though, or the other phone calls. She's remembering now that she has access to her phone records, though, right? That's the interesting thing about this is that Nichol remembers exactly what went on during that 111-minute conversation, only after she got access to her phone records. Now she remembers. Okay. All right, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. She remembers all of a sudden. Okay, so Chris sent her these text messages, right? These screenshots of her Anadarko phone. So thank you for clarifying that with me, Boops, because I'm like, what? What is going on here? Okay. Let's continue. So the other thing, right? You would need to go to Anadarko for that. And then she says, what else? What else? Okay. Okay. So that same night, I remember I told you that we had one big phone conversation that you and me just discussed. And then we FaceTime for like 2 minutes, right? And then we had another big phone conversation. Okay. So now she's talking about these phone conversations, right? There's this one. And then there's these phone conversations. She's claiming that there is a FaceTime in between the two. So between 50 and 52 minutes, there is a FaceTime call in between. All right. So we're tracking, right? I know it's getting a little confusing because holy shit. There's so much information here. All right. So the answer. So this is what Nichol Kessinger says. So when we FaceTime, I don't know. I don't know if it's relevant, but like you say, just say it anyways. He was wearing a black wife beater. I think it was black. And I told you guys that he was laying on a mattress that had no sheets. And so I've been in his house, but I've never been in his kid's room or the room where his wife slept. Like I went upstairs once, but it was back to the little playroom where all the books are at? Question mark, right? So it's almost like she's asking the question, which to me that tells me that she's lying. I don't think that she's actually that she's actually telling the truth here. I think that she's lying, right? She's saying that she never went into the kid's room. However, in her interview, she did state that she went into the kids' room and she saw that they have a lot of books. Oh, your girls read? Oh my God, they have so many books. I'm so glad that your girls read. So now she's saying, I didn't go to the room. And she's also saying that I didn't go to the room where his wife slept. Okay, his wife, right? Really, that is the marital room. That is where Chris and Shanann slept together. She says that she went upstairs, but only to the little playroom where all the books are at, right? So now she's saying, "Oh, I didn't go into the room. I just went to the playroom where the books are at." Right? So she didn't go in. She just saw the books and was like, "Oh, it's so cute that your girls read." And then she ends it with a question mark, right? So she's like, "Where all the books are at?" So then again, tells me it's a lie. "Right," says Kevin. Then Nicole says, "But I did not go in any other rooms up there, like, ever. Like, ever. I did not go into their rooms up there, like, ever." That tells me that she did. Okay, just my opinion, but that tells me that she did go to her room or their rooms, right? More than once. But I remember that the time that I did go upstairs, the bedroom door to the upstairs bedroom. Look at this. She goes his and then cuts herself and says the bedroom door. So she was about to say his bedroom door, right? Or his main room. But she doesn't say that. She says the bedroom door to the upstairs bedroom, like the main room was open. And I really I don't want to look, but just when I was walking by, I noticed that they have like a really big bed. It was like a tall pillory, just like a big bed frame. And so I really don't know exactly what it looked like. It just looked like a quick glance or whatever. It's just like that looks like a really big, nice, what the fuck? I'm so glad that we've done Veroscope videos on this channel because I would really love to hear Veroscope's take on this. Notice how many times she restarts her sentences. And it's so, again, it's so great that we have it in text because you can actually see it. She restarted the sentence here. And then this entire time with all the likes, what she's really trying to say is, I did go into the room and I saw that bed. But she's trying to downplay it and saying, I didn't really go in there. I kind of just walked by and I kind of noticed it. Not really, though. I turned my head only a few degrees over, but not really because my hair was in the way. And I mean, I didn't really pay attention to it that much, but I kind of looked and then I was kind of like, that's kind of like, a really big, nice, you know. So she saw the bed. She knows how big the bed is. She even knows that there is a tall pillory. She says pillory. Just a quick glance or whatever. It's just like that looks really big and nice, you know. Yeah. She didn't see it. Exactly. Oh my goodness gracious. I have no words for this. What is going on? Oh my God. Nicole then says, but again, I didn't go in there. I didn't get like a good view of it. But I noticed that night that we were FaceTiming, I was trying to figure out where the hell he was, because he was laying down talking to me and he didn't have any sheets on the bed. The background didn't look like the basement. And I've seen the basement. I've seen the bed in the basement. Like I've seen the little dwelling area down there and it didn't look like that. And I saw it kind of looked like he was lying down and he had the phone like facing him, but you kind of just see in the background like the bed, and it looked like a really elegant, really tall bed frame. So here she's saying that Chris was in the marital bed, right? She's saying that that he was actually in the room where he and Shanann slept. But she's saying that she didn't really go in there. She just glanced at it. So you think it was the master bedroom? Yes, I do. Okay. I think it was. I didn't ask, but I'm assuming it was just no sheets on there. Okay. Like, I remember the mattress, if I remember properly. I think it was blue, but I don't remember 100%. But he was just like laying on it in a black wife beater, and I just remember like seeing this and again, like I've never been in that room, so I don't know. Okay. 100%. Like, okay, that was it. It kind of looked like something very elegant, and it definitely was not what was in the basement. And then Kevin says, "Okay, what's next?" Notice that Kevin is annoyed with her, right? We already saw the other video and we assumed that Kevin was already annoyed at her. And we can see it here too. He's like, okay, yeah, what's next? You already talked about the elegant bed frame. You talked about the sheets. You talked about a TV being on. You've already said all these things. You're repeating yourself at this point. What's next? And look at this. Um, Keeping you on track, says Kevin, right? Look at this sentence here. He's keeping her on track, right? I'm trying to go in order. I think that's it, says Nicole. Okay. I think that's all I've got. So I asked you a couple questions when I was driving when we talked earlier today. And since we weren't okay on tape, I'm just going to ask again. Okay. Which was when I called you after we looked at your phone download and you told that the messages you deleted like right now, they don't look, I mean, I can't see them, so I'm trying to recover them like I told you through some computer forensics. Well, see if we can get that done, but one of the questions that I had for was if you ever social what is he saying? Am I even reading this right? I'm like, am I going insane? No, right? This is how it's being said. But one of the questions that I had for was if you ever social media and you said you did not. So, no. You don't use I don't. I any social media, you've never used Facebook or Facebook Messenger with Chris? No, nothing. I've never used any social media with him at all. I have LinkedIn, but when him and I first started hanging out for business purposes, but it was something that I was like never on. And then honestly, once all this news media stuff and everything started happening, I deleted the LinkedIn just so that it's harder for these people to try to come and track me down and ask me a million questions. But I never spoke to him on that. I don't even think that he has it. I don't even know. I like never used it. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and stop here with the Facebook and the social media. Kevin is asking her now about social media questions, and she's saying, no, I didn't have any social media. The only thing that I had was LinkedIn. But even with LinkedIn, I'm never really on it. Now she's claiming that she deleted it so that people won't ask her a million questions and try to track her down, which we know, right? We know that Nichol Kessinger disappeared off the face of the planet. I'm sure that this was one of the ways that she managed to do that, right? She very strategically disappeared, vanished off the face of the planet. But again, I think it's so weird that she says she had no social media. Okay, come on, really? And then she's saying that she was never really on it. So again, every time that we hear Nicole Kessinger be asked a question that she doesn't want to answer, something that kind of makes her a little nervous, she does the stop and go, right? She stops, restarts the sentence, starts again, stops, restarts, starts again. And it's constant, right? It is constantly happening throughout this entire discovery. That is why it's just so annoying to read along because what the hell, right? She just keeps stopping. There's a lot of likes, but you clearly see that Nicole Kessinger is nervous in the way that she's speaking because, again, it's very straightforward. She doesn't have to constantly explain that she didn't go into a room. If she didn't go into the room and she doesn't remember it, then she doesn't remember it. But she has to almost convince herself that she didn't go into the room so that somebody else can believe her, right? And she's doing it again with the social media. She's like, I did have LinkedIn, but I didn't really use it though. And she has to keep saying it over and over again. I do have it, but I don't use it. I didn't really use it. It's for business purposes, but I just don't really use it anymore. What is up with that? It's like she's so desperate for people to believe her. She stalked Shanann. Exactly. Yeah, she did. That's the ticket. One must be old to get this reference, I think. Yeah, is are we talking about the chocolate factory here? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or is it something else? Yeah, that's why she looked up Ronnie. Yeah, she's such a liar. Exactly. Oh my God. Let's have a poll. When will NK be put in trial? Yes. Oh my God. This is nuts. And it goes on and on and on. Okay, now she's talking about 2016. So she's saying that she had Facebook in 2016. And she says, but as far as like actual social media, I haven't had any other stuff like Twi. Right? So she was about to say Twitter. I've never had Twitter. I've never had Instagram. I haven't had Facebook since 2016. So no. Him and I never had any connection on any social media. Do you know when he closed his Facebook? No, no. I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot to write that down the other day. He mentioned that to me on Saturday when we were at dinner. I think that it was either when we were talking in the restaurant or walking out of the restaurant. Okay, what did he say? He just like, offhandedly, right? Here it is again. The word offhandedly. He just like offhandedly was like, I shut down my Facebook. And I was like, what? Why? And he's like, because I'm never really on there. And he's like, she used to be on there all the time for work. She used to be on there all the time for work? What? Shanann was still alive on Saturday. So why would Chris tell her this? Why would Chris say she used to be there? What the Okay. And he's like, "But I don't need it." And he's just like, it was just like very like random nonchalant comment. And I was like surprised. Oh, and then no, 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 no. And then I asked him, I said, did you shut it down all the way? And he kind of like gave me this puzzled look. "Mhm." And I was like, you have to actually like write Facebook with a letter. I mean, not like a letter, but you need to send them an email. You can't just deactivate it. I was like, you need to send them an email that says, I want you. And so I want you to shut my account. She's telling Chris to write to what's his nuts? Mark Zuckerberg? She's telling Chris, "You can't just deactivate your Facebook, man. You're gonna have to write to Mark Zuckerberg, write him an email, tell him that you want your Facebook really deactivated. You have to send a letter, not a letter, but like an email." Huh? What the Why is she telling Chris to write letters to Facebook, to Meta? You gotta write to Facebook, man. Pawn it, man. Okay. What do we think here? Guys, what do we think? This is so crazy. It's crazy that she's claiming that Chris brought it up so nonchalantly, right? Offhandedly. She says offhandedly, and then she also says nonchalant comment. And then she also says like random. Okay. So she's claiming that Chris mentioned it offhandedly because it wasn't really that important. It was a nonchalant comment, but she then continued the conversation by letting him know, hey, if you're going to delete your Facebook, make sure that you write letters. Make sure that your Facebook is actually fully deleted. What? If it's so nonchalant and it doesn't mean anything to Chris, then why does she care? Why is she telling Chris to write emails to Facebook so that they can fully deactivate his Facebook page? I mean, she's really talking about deleting all kinds of digital footprint here, right? Like all of it. The way that she disappeared. She disappeared by deleting her entire digital footprint. And that is what she was trying to get Chris to do. The same thing. Oh my goodness. What do we think? Exactly, Elle Holt. She is a control freak. She's a control freak. She knew everything that Chris was doing. Oh my goodness. She asked him to send him screenshots of his work phone. She knows everything that was going on that Friday that he took the day off. She knows all about his Facebook being deactivated, even though it was nonchalantly and offhandedly mentioned. But she knows everything about that. Oh my God, specifically how to remove social media. That is so crazy. Oh my God. The more we dig, the more we find. Did we know this? She was, yeah, exactly. In their finances as well. Exactly. She knew everything about him. His condoms, where they were manufactured, what size they were, what aisle they were at Walmart. She knows when he started his meal plan, how much weight he lost, how much weight he gained, from what time to what time, all of that. She knows where they sat at the BJ's, upstairs, D16, over to the left, kind of in the middle. She knows all of this as well. And she's remembering it after the fact, right? Way after the fact. Oh my God. Where do you, oh my gosh, I need to see what you guys are saying. If anyone knew how to wipe the internet presence, it's NK. Exactly, boobs. 100%, right? She's a master. I mean, she is the only person, I think, that successfully erased herself from the face of the planet as a mistress, right? As somebody who did not want to be found. She did it successfully. And she knows, oh my God. I don't even know this much about my husband's stuff. Emily. Right? I'm like, shit, I don't even know this much about myself. I'm like, hold on. Where's my birth certificate? Right? I'm like second guessing myself now. I'm like, wait a minute, when was I really born? Oh my goodness. This lady knows so much about Chris. Yet she says, I don't know anything about him. I wasn't even that interested. Okay, let's see what she says. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it shut down the account. So what was his response to that? Says Kevin. I don't remember what he said to me. I don't remember what he said to me. So you don't think I really don't. He just deactivated it. I don't think he did not shut it down. That's what I think he did. Okay. But I don't think I don't even think he knew that he hadn't completely gotten rid of it. Okay? Cuz I've done it, so I know what you have to do it. And then Kevin says, "Okay, anything else?" Kevin. Oh, Kevin. Kevin, please, somebody give this guy another job. He says, okay, anything else? After Nichol Kessinger just told him that she is an expert at deleting Facebook and that she knows that he didn't fully get rid of it. So it's actually Nicole who's telling him to get rid of the Facebook page. Is that not what's going on? I'm going to ask you guys this question. Let's go ahead and end this poll here and let's go ahead and start another one. Oh my God. All right. Do we think that Nicole told him to delete the Facebook? This was not mentioned offhandedly, not in my opinion. Again, this is just my opinion. I don't think that he mentioned this offhandedly, nonchalantly. She told him to delete Facebook, right? She's the one who told him. And when Chris, I think he tried to delete it, and then Nichol Kessinger went back to check his Facebook page, and she saw that it was still up. And she's like, dude, you're fucking stupid. This is not how you delete Facebook. You need to make sure to write a letter to Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, Meta. M-E-T-A. Meta. Yeah, that's what Facebook is now. It's called Meta. Make sure that you write them an email. What? Okay, so Chris Watts deleted his Facebook page. Where is it? Goodness. Oh my God. Okay, we gotta find it. Where is it? I know it's somewhere around here. Right here. Okay. Oof. Chris canceled his Facebook page on Wednesday. All right. Nicole is talking about this on Saturday. So on Saturday, she knew that what he tried to delete was not actually deleted. And so that's why she's telling him, hey, I checked and your Facebook page is not fully deleted because you're an idiot. You don't know how to do anything. I told you to read it, Chris. Read the instructions. It's not that hard. All right. So what you have to do is you have to write a letter. Okay. Not a letter, but you have to write an email. I know because I've done this before. And so 3 days later, Nicole is claiming that she told him that he should do this, okay? And it's right here. I don't think he knew that he hadn't completely gotten rid of it. Okay. Is this not a oh my gosh, I'm like, oh, my nose. Is this not a contradiction? She just said that Chris mentioned it to her offhandedly and nonchalantly. I just shut down my Facebook. And then she was like, it was kind of like random. Okay. But then she says, I don't think that he actually knew that he had gotten rid of it. So then they had a full conversation about it. It wasn't mentioned offhandedly. Because then she says, I know what you have to do it because I've done it before. Oh my God. Okay. So the question is, do we think NK told Chris Watts to get rid of Facebook? That's the question. I mean, it's very, very straightforward. There it is. All right. Do we think NK told Chris Watts to get rid of Facebook? Wow. He did at her apartment. Oh my God. Yeah. Why does she care? He didn't hide things from NK because she could just stalk Shanann. Yeah, exactly. NK is 100% guilty. It's not like, yeah, in my opinion anymore. Way too many contradictions and lies, and she needs to be in prison for life. Exactly, Ratitude, right? At this point, it's not just coincidence, right? These are all just blatant contradictions. It is a contradiction after a contradiction. You see it in writing. She says all these things, and then earlier she said, "Oh, it was just in passing." But then she says, "Oh, I don't actually think that he knew that it was deleted." Well, how does she know that then? How does she know that unless she actually had a full-on conversation with him on that Saturday, right? That Saturday, they are at the Lazy Dog, and she is discussing something that Chris did on Wednesday earlier that week. So Chris is like, "Hey, I deleted the Facebook page as you asked me to." And she's like, "You didn't. No, you didn't. I already checked. Let me see. Hold on. I'm going to Google it." Oh my God, let me see. Nope. No, see, you see, Chris, you're still there. So you didn't really delete it. You know what you need to do? You need to write a letter, write an email. You know how I know? Because I've done it before. You know how I know? Is because I stabbed someone in the back because I was playing Face Twister with my friend and then I got caught. Oh my God. And so then I had to delete all of my stuff because I didn't want to be found. So that's how I know. You need to write to Meta. Oh man. Someone who isn't familiar with Facebook wouldn't know that. Tommy's girl, thank you. Thank you for pointing out the obvious, right? Exactly. Exactly. She is claiming that she didn't have any of these social media sites. She says that she had Facebook, but in 2016, right? I didn't have anything. Yet she knows so much about writing to the CEOs of all of these social media platforms. How does she know all this if she never had social media? She had it in 2016, she says. Oh, I had it like 2 years ago, but I still remember everything that I did. I remembered all the steps that you need to take to make sure that your Facebook is fully deleted. Oh my God. Oh, okay. What else does she say? And then, of course, Kevin says, okay, anything else? No, but that was just kind of offhanded that you mentioned that. So yeah. Okay. But we never talked on Facebook. But no, we never We never talked on Facebook. All right. So again, just look at everything that she said before stating that no, she never talked with him on Facebook, right? So she wasn't asked to this recently. She was asked this at the very, very beginning of the conversation. But she has to come back and tie it all in and say, well, I gave you all of this crap that you probably don't even remember. But at the end, she needs to tie it back and say, yeah, all that. And then at the end, yeah, we never really talked on Facebook though. Okay. And then Kevin says, and then I asked you, if necessary, if for some reason I need to get your phone, that you would be willing to provide me that handset if necessary, so that you were in agreement to that. Yeah, I mean, just you guys just give me something else so that I can like get a hold of people in my life that I need to get a hold of, and that's fine. So Kevin asked her, "Hey, I know that you are in agreement. You said that you would give us your phone so that we can look into this quadruple homicide." And she says, "Sure. Yeah, I'll give you my phone as long as you give me a replacement. And make sure that it's not one of those little flippy ones, right? I need to make sure that it's the newest iPhone. Because, I need to get a hold of the people in my life. This is just so inconvenient," she says. Imagine that. Imagine that. The mistress is asking for a replacement phone. You guys are inconveniencing me by asking me for my phone. I will give it to you as long as you give me another one so that I can talk to all of my peeps, all of my friends, Charlotte and them and Jim and the other ones, the ones that I don't want you to talk to. Leave Jim alone, please. Anyway, I need to talk to that guy, so make sure that you give me another phone, please. The mistress is the one, setting the rules here. She's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll give it to you as long as you give me something in return," right? Kevin says, "Okay," right? The idiot. He agrees. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair. Can I have it back when you guys are done though? I mean, and if you need to keep it, I can like go get another phone if I have to. Can I get it back when you guys are done though?" Oh my God. Is she serious? Well, we can work that out. That should that come up. Okay. I'm still waiting. Okay. Waiting for the call forensic or computer forensic experts to okay. Give me an idea because of your phone. Your phone's an iPhone, which makes my knowledge of this is that if you deleted something off an iPhone, it's gone. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. So I asked you also to call Verizon because that's your provider and to see if they could give you some advice on that. Did you happen to do that? I did. So I got on their online chat and I saved that just in case for some reason you guys need it if you can see that. I asked them. I was able to they told me that there's like several cloud storage devices. They said that Verizon has a cloud and iPhone has the cloud. And I checked and of course my iPhone cloud backup is not it's not active. Okay. So go figure. I just don't pay attention to that stuff. I really don't. Um Nichol Kessinger is claiming that her iPhone iCloud isn't on. Of course, right? She says, "Of course. I checked and of course." Oh, Kevin, it just so happens that my iPhone cloud backup is just not active. But you know what? I didn't even know because I don't even pay attention to that kind of stuff. What? I really don't. Huh. Again, this goes back to her not knowing how to turn on Wi-Fi, right? I don't know how to turn on Wi-Fi. Can you guys help me? She is weaponizing her incompetence here. right? That's clearly what she's doing. She's weaponizing her not knowing how these phones work. And yeah, I did call them and they told me all this stuff. I'm just so sorry. I can't get it to you, Kevin. I'm so sorry. You're going to have to go and ask Anna Darko about that. Don't ask me. Is Kevin really this dumb? Yes, apparently he is. Oh, Kevin, right? Kevin. Come on, Kevin. And then Kevin asks, "So I asked you if you use any cloud stuff earlier. So none of that was active?" No, that was not. And I asked them, they're like, "Well, your phone works with Verizon iCloud." And I was like, "Well, how do I activate that? Like, how do I open that? Where do I find that in my phone?" And he's like, "Oh, it's an app. You have to download the app." And I was like, "Well, is anything from previous conversations going to be on there if I haven't downloaded the app yet?" And he said, "No." Okay. But I'll let you guys look at that conversation and my phone, and maybe you guys can figure out something that I can't. I know exactly what they're saying. So that was their only. So they were saying that if you had the cloud and it wouldn't have been backed up to the cloud, but since you didn't, the messages are gone. Yeah, and my phone cloud is not backing up either. Okay. So here it sounds like she is lamenting, right? She's like, "Oh my God. My iCloud it just wasn't backed up. So unfortunately, those messages are gone forever, deleted because the iPhone cloud is not backing anything up either." Right, says Kevin. Okay. Wow. So it's not active. So I'm really sorry about that. That's okay, says Kevin. It's just not active. So I'm really sorry about that, says Nicole. There's always an excuse with her, isn't there? Whenever she's asked if she did something, she says, "Yeah, but I forgot." When she's asked if she called Verizon, "I did, but they told me this." When she's asked about her messages and the cloud backup, "Yeah, I did try it, Kevin, but unfortunately, my 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 iCloud backup isn't working. It's just not active right now." And then says, "I'm really sorry about that. But but on a good note, so then I found this other thing under data usage. I'll show you. I was gonna bring my laptop when I come in, but not that you need anything off of there, but just so that I can like show you my Verizon account and maybe we can figure out and maybe we can see if we can dig up some of the stuff on there. But I found messages and it wasn't the actual body of the text messages, but it was like the date and the time and the phone number, she says. And it was the phone number. And then I went to, and I received it and I got really excited. I was like, "Oh my God, it's a message log." And even if it wasn't the body of the message, it would probably help us figure out what's missing and what's not. I was super excited. And then I started scrolling through it and realized that the last ones that they have are from 8/14. So I think they keep them from a week and then they get rid of them. Okay, so did you screenshot that? I wish I would have known that 2 days ago. What's that? Did you take a screenshot of that or anything like that? I mean, I can if you want me to. Or is it on? It's just, is that on your personal Verizon account? Yes. Yeah, so would you like print the page or do something for me? Because in the event that there are just, computer generation deletion, if there's anything there, I'd like to try and save it as much as we can. Well, I mean, I wish you guys would have told me this like 2 days ago because if they're only saving, it looks like they're not saving the body of the messages, it looks. Right. Like they're It looks like they're doing what does it say? It looks like what they're doing is that they're saving the date and time. It's like a timestamp for the text messages. Sure. And who they come from, and it's like they're only saving them for a week. Like today, they went from 8:14, and I'm afraid that if I wait, tomorrow they'll only go to 8:15. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so if you print those tonight. So and I was that'd be great. Just I was so bummed. I was like the 2 days I needed like right before where they were cut off. Yeah, that's okay. Um okay, we're going to continue with the rest of it later. This is difficult. This is very very difficult for me to do because what? Oh my god. Not only is it really hard to read back and forth, right? Because we have, here you can see there's the question and answer, right? So you see who's answering the question or who's asking, who's answering, who's asking, who's answering. But, the way that it's the way that it's laid out and, if you guys are listening to the live stream, it's hard for me to just go from voice to voice and, analyze it. But there's a lot here, right? She is lying constantly. She's constantly making up all of these excuses of why she isn't able to get the information that the police wants. At the very end here, now she's saying that she's bummed out, right? I was so bummed, she claims, because the 2 days that they needed, she just doesn't have anymore. And Kevin is asking her, "Hey, can you just like screenshot these photos? Can you make a copy of them? Can you print these out? Do something for us. Please help us out." And she says, "I really wish you had told me this days earlier because I would have done that. But man, you should have just told me." As if somebody needs to be telling her not to delete messages. What, she needs to be told not to be deleting evidence? Come on. Really? Every single thing with Nicole is an excuse, right? Every single thing. All of it is a lie, in my opinion. Because again, I was so bummed, she says. And then earlier, she even claims that she was so happy that she saw text messages. Right here, she says, "Oh my God, it's a message log." Oh, I was so happy, Kevin. Believe me when I say that I was happy that I saw some messages come in. Oh, but then I realized, oh my God, it's not the ones that you guys need. Oh, I was so bummed. Then when Kevin asked her, "Well, can you just screenshot the ones from today?" Oh my God, Kevin, I would have totally done that had you told me earlier, though. Oh, I'm so bummed out. I really wish I had known that you needed these text messages, Kevin. I would have never deleted them. Oh. And if you told me that you needed me to screenshot these, I would have done it for you, but you didn't tell me. Make sure you remind me next time, Kevin, please. It's your fault. I have a lot to process, okay? I have so much to process after reading this. I Oh god, I was not expecting this. But hey, we added some things to the calendar, a lot of things that are apparently making a lot of sense to us now, right? Because it didn't make sense to me before. Now, it seems that it's all coming together, right? We're putting the pieces together. All of the little puzzle pieces that are kind of floating around on the internet, they're coming back, right? We're pulling them together and putting them in this calendar. So now we know that when Chris deleted his Facebook, it wasn't fully deleted. And Nichol Kessinger had him fully delete that. That is so crazy. She knew to email Zuckerberg, but she deleted messages anyway. Exactly. Yes, exactly, Angela, right? Yeah. It's so true. She knows that she needs to email Zuckerberg to delete things, but she doesn't know that she needs to, not delete evidence, or she doesn't know that, oh, they don't keep messages for that long. Oh, the cloud wasn't active. But she knows how to delete Facebook, but she doesn't know how to activate her cloud on iPhone. It's not that hard. Everything on iPhone tells you how to do it. It's really not that difficult. I mean, you can even go to the Verizon store and they'll do it for you for free. It's not hard. You can ask ChatGPT these days. I mean, granted, she did not have ChatGPT then, but she could have Googled it. She could have YouTubed it, right? Even that. She could have just found it on YouTube and it would have given her a step by step on how to turn on her cloud. WikiHow is another one, but she didn't do that. Holy shit. Yeah, my head is spinning. Exactly, mine too. Just Josie. I yeah, like I said, I have a lot to process. We learned a lot just from this very annoying back and forth conversation that Nichol Kessinger and Kevin Koback had. All right, where are we at with the poll? Do we think that NK told Chris Watts to get rid of Facebook? Yeah, 84% of us think yes, 3% say no, and 12 say perhaps, right? Perhaps, yeah, perhaps. Yeah, I am under the belief that Nichol Kessinger asked him to delete it, right? Excuse me. Yeah, she's the one that asked him to delete it. He didn't do it correctly, as always, right? The big potato head doesn't do anything right. And so now Nicole's like, no, dude, you don't do it that way. All right, you got to make sure that you delete it, fully. Wow. Oh my God. All right, let's go ahead and end this poll. That is so crazy. Oh, oh my God. Okay, we added a lot of stuff here. I do also want to go ahead and just add here that Chris canceled Facebook. Here, no, was it here that I wanted to add it? No, right here. Okay, so here I want to add that Nicole told Chris to write a letter. Okay, make sure you write a letter, Chris. That is what she supposedly told him. So let's just go ahead and add it here. NK told Chris Watts to write email to Facebook. All right. Oh my God. And this is Nichol Kessinger, so it's going to be in green. All right, so we have it in there now. We have in there that Nichol Kessinger told Chris to write an email to Facebook. Wow. I'm in shock. Wow, I'm actually in shock. Sean? Oh man. All right, guys. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and leave it here because that one was difficult to do. But let's go ahead and check before we take off. I just want to make sure that I got all of the fan funding. Tiger, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. And Hurt Locker, thank you so much. Randy, thank you. Boops, thank you so much for the super chats and for all the information. Lisa, welcome. Welcome to members. Angela, thank you so much. Boops, thank you so much. Eileen, thank you so much for the super chat. Boops, thank you so much for the super chat and for all the information. Oh my gosh, I missed this one. Samantha, NK is like, don't ask me. I'm just a girl. Yes. Oh my God, that is so accurate. I don't know. Can you figure out how to turn on my Wi-Fi, Kevin? I don't want to break a nail. Oh my God. Weaponizing her incompetence as always. Happy 4th, everyone. Yay. Thank you, Ratitude. Member for a month. Thank you so much for being a member. And yeah, let's go ahead and check the other ones. These are the ones that I just want to make sure I never miss. Carolette, thank you so much for the sparkles. Tammy, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the 600 jewels. Oh my gosh. What are those? Oh, it's a jacket potato. Oh my God. Wolf Baby, thank you so much for the jewels. Tiger and Ratitude, thank you guys so much for everything.